There I was, with a big smile on my face, arms out, ready to receive the 4 simple suggestions. 4 simple suggestions that I had been chosen to take into the world to help us deal with COVID-19. As I stepped forward, I tripped and I dropped the 4 simple suggestions. As I stood up, I found myself in an old shop. I rubbed my eyes and then I found myself in a cafe. I rubbed my eyes again and I found myself at home. And at that moment, I don't know how or why, it dawned on me that I had been living in a fantasy world, one that I had created to help deal with the mental pressure that COVID-19 was having on my family and me. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. What about you? How are you coping with COVID-19? Well, I thought about these 4 simple suggestions. Yes, they had come from my head, but maybe worth another look. See, in my head, I heard 4 voices speaking to me, giving me advice in the form of 4 simple suggestions. The first voice spoke to me and said, "We know you have been out of work, and we know this is hard on you and everyone else, but know you this, there will be a future. You have to be prepared. You must learn new things, reskill, back to study, for this is the only way." A second voice then spoke. 4 walls, at home, trapped inside 4 walls. We know this is hard on yours and everyone else's mental health. There may be many solutions, but the key is communication. You must get out of your head. You must reach out and speak with your family and your friends. You must seek professional help where required. And you must ask your friends what you can do to help them. Improve your communications, for this is the only way. The third voice then spoke. At home, sat down, long periods, inactive, a sure way to let COVID beat you. But you must fight back. You must fight against inertia. You must strengthen yourself. You must move. If you can walk, walk. If you can run, run. Stretch yourself. You must do what you can. You must fight. Movement is the key, for this is the only way. The fourth and final voice then spoke. Governments around the world are fighting against COVID. We know it's hard, but we must stick together. We must wear a mask, stay at home, get the vaccination. We must fight this together. Follow the government's advice, for this is the only way. Well, I thought about these 4 simple suggestions, and was I following them? No, I was only following one, the government's advice. So what about you, fellow Toastmasters? I ask again, how are you coping with COVID-19? Are you doing better than me? Maybe you're already following these 4 simple suggestions. Maybe not. Well, I decided I was going to give these other suggestions a try. Well, the first of these 4 simple suggestions, back to study, I had to do something. Well, I work in IT, so I decided to do an examination in AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, a difficult certification, but I made a commitment that I would study 30 minutes to 1 hour every day, as long as it took. For the second simple suggestion, to improve communications, I realized I had not spoken with my family or friends for many weeks. So I made a commitment that I would speak with one or more at least once a week, just to see how I was doing. For the third simple suggestion, movement, I set myself the goal that I would walk every day, 10 minutes to 1 hour. Again, just to see how I was doing. And for the fourth simple suggestion, well, I was going to wear a mask and follow the government's advice. So how did I do? Well, for the first simple suggestion, back to study, I completed the AWS certification in just over 2 months. And not only did I pass, but I also landed a new job. Double whammy, yes. What about you? Perhaps you could go back and learn something new that would help you. For the second simple suggestion, improve the communications. Now I speak with members of my family and friends and family regularly, and it's had a massive impact on me. I feel happier, more relaxed. It's brilliant. What about you? Maybe there's a friend or member of your family who would love to hear from you. Give it a try and see. Movement. I use an app and I walk every day, at least 10 minutes to 1 hour. And I feel so much better. I can breathe fresh air. I can move. It's frightening how quickly I became unfit. What about you? Maybe you could get out and move a little bit more. And for the last one, well, I've recently just been given an injection for the coronavirus. Result. So fellow Toastmasters, if you're not already following these 4 simple suggestions, what about giving them a try? Here they are again. The first one, back to study, learn something new. Improve your communication, speak to your friends, speak with your family. Movement, get out and walk. And the fourth one, follow the government's advice. While these 4 simple suggestions came from my imagination, their impact has been very positive on my mental and my physical health. And just maybe they might do the same for you. Give them a try and see for yourself. Madam Contest Chair.
Thank you very much, Pedro. I think, well, we have also 1 minute to send our suggestions to Pedro, and William Anderson is going to be the evaluator after that, okay? So, Madam Timer, please, 1 minute.
Time.
Thank you very much. So, are you ready, William? The floor is yours.
I'm ready now. Okay, so I can just go?
Yeah, sure, go please.
Okay, all right. Fellow Toastmasters and Pedro, congratulations on your speech. I hope and wish the best for you when you go to the divisional contest, and I hope you do well. I would really like if there was something I could contribute to that, then I could tell people, yeah, I helped them a little bit, you know. So I want to share with you what the things I really liked about it. What stood out to me is just your, again, just like you said for me, the energy you have, you're convincing in that you have conviction about these things. And so that came across, and that makes me interested. So I like this. Back to study, speak to others, movement, follow government advice. Last one, I'm always not so sure about that, but anyway, there are a few things that I think would really help you take it to a whole nother level. And first of all, this would be it. You need to stand up. You need to do it not sitting. It looked like you were sitting, at least to me. I didn't see much movement, and especially like you can move in and move out, get some variety with it. I mean, I've done a lot of reading over the last year about doing online speeches and online things. And they say, almost 99% of the people say, if you have the opportunity and you have to give a presentation or speech, stand up and do it. So I highly encourage you to do that. It will give you much more freedom to use those hands now. So that was one thing that I think would help a lot. And so I would encourage you these next 2 weeks to try that, stand up, practice doing that. Also, I think you have too many gestures. I think you can cut back a little bit. It doesn't have to be every idea, but especially you should do the ones for the big ideas like, you know, back to school and those. But there's times when you're almost like talking with your hands the whole time. And when you do that, it kind of loses its impact. You know what I mean? And here's some other things. Like when you would move your hands like this, because you have a virtual background, your hands would disappear, your fingers would be gone. And for me, that's a bit distracting. So I don't know if you what you could do for your background. I want to change this, but this is my office area, you know. But I'm just saying, I find virtuals, they lose a lot when things disappear. So I would think about that. And also when you were talking and you kind of wagged your finger at people, you know, that's a big no-no, according to some of the guys from TED Talks, okay? That when you want to point to people, use your palm up like this, and that creates kind of a positivity, whereas this is kind of more negative. So you might consider that kind of gesture for that. But I liked what you had to say, and I actually was encouraged to do it, and I'm going to remember those 4 things. And so I really hope that this will help a little bit. But the most important things for you, stand up, a little bit less gestures, and think about not having a virtual background, but find a good background. And with that, I wish you all the best at the divisional contest.